chosen one. If you are reading this, pause and let these words settle deep into your spirit, because this is not an ordinary message. This is a divine signal, a prophetic interruption meant for someone specific, not for everyone. This is for the one who has been marked, set apart, trained in secret, hidden for a season. This is for you, the chosen one. You are not here by accident. You didn't stumble upon this by chance. Heaven arranged this moment to whisper something sacred into the core of your soul. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not invisible to God. Even if you've been weary, even if your heart is heavy with questions you can't put into words, there is a reason for what you're feeling. You are in the middle of a divine transition, and the weight pressing on you right now is not a curse, it's a calling. Before God shifts your season, He always sends a signal, but the signal doesn't come in ways most people expect. It doesn't begin with thunder or flashing lights. It starts with tension, with discomfort, with that strange restlessness in your spirit that tells you something is changing, but you can't quite explain what. Most people miss it, not because God is silent, but because they never learned how to interpret the unease. But the chosen always feel it first. The ones marked for something greater, those who were called before they had language for their calling, they don't need a trumpet blast. They recognize the stillness that comes before the storm, the stirring in their soul that signals it's time to move, to shift, to stretch. If you've been feeling like the ground beneath you no longer fits, like you don't belong where you once felt safe, don't panic. That is not a breakdown. That is your awakening. This unsettling you're experiencing isn't chaos. It's clarity being born through pressure. Your spirit is picking up signals your mind hasn't fully processed yet. The places that once felt familiar are no longer comfortable. The routines that used to satisfy you now leave you empty. Why? Because the old space can no longer hold the new you. And when God begins to call a chosen one into a new dimension, He doesn't start with a map, He starts with a stirring. This is that stirring. This is that moment. And you are not losing your mind. You are being summoned. You are being stretched. You are being realigned for what heaven has assigned. The tension is not evidence of failure. It is the signal of formation. So lift your head, chosen one. Shake off the confusion. You are not in a season of collapse. You are in a season of construction. And the voice of the Lord is reaching for you, not to condemn you, but to confirm you. You have not been overlooked. You have been hidden intentionally so that you could be prepared. And now heaven is whispering again, you're not late. You're not lost. You're not left behind. You're being positioned. What you're feeling is holy. What you're sensing is sacred. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Don't run from it. This is not the end of you. This is the awakening of you. If this message stirred something deep within you, if your spirit whispered, "This is for me," then don't let it pass like just another post. Mark this moment. Seal it with faith. Type 777 in the comments as your prophetic agreement, your yes to the divine assignment on your life. That number isn't random. It's heaven's code for completion, alignment, and spiritual awakening. Let the unseen realm know the chosen one is awake. You didn't imagine the tension. You didn't make up the restlessness in your spirit. What you're feeling is real, holy even. Because before any visible change occurs, heaven always releases a signal, and you, chosen one, were designed to perceive what others overlook. The shift doesn't begin with explosions or loud declarations. It begins quietly with a stirring, a subtle dislocation, a divine discomfort that interrupts your routine without warning. Most people dismiss it, but you can't, because something inside you refuses to stay asleep. That is not confusion. That is God awakening you to movement. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Letters to Malcolm chiefly on prayer, "We may ignore, but we can nowhere evade the presence of God. The world is crowded with Him. He walks everywhere, incognito." This profound insight illuminates the subtle stirrings you feel, The restlessness in your spirit is not random. It is the incognito presence of God pressing against your soul, urging you to recognize His movement. You are not imagining this divine signal. You are being summoned to awaken, to step boldly into the shift that heaven has already initiated. There was a time when the places you stood felt stable, when the things you built gave you comfort. But now they feel too small, too tight, too shallow for the weight of what's growing inside you. What once fit you no longer holds you. That's not regression, it's transition. The chosen always outgrow what was never meant to be permanent. Your hunger for more, your ache for clarity, your sudden grief for spaces you once loved, these are not random emotions. They are spiritual indicators. They are heaven's way of saying, it's time. You, chosen one, have been set apart not just to endure seasons but to recognize them. You have a sensitivity in your spirit that picks up the tremors long before the ground moves, and that's why the shaking feels so personal. God is shifting things around you because He's preparing to release something through you. But before He brings change to your environment, He always starts with your awareness. And that's what's happening now. Your spirit has become alert. Your peace has been disrupted, not because you are in danger, but because you are in proximity to destiny. In these moments, the enemy will try to cloud your discernment. He will whisper lies that you are off track, that you're making it all up, that maybe God isn't moving at all. But the truth is, the enemy only attacks what he fears, and what you're carrying terrifies him. This is why confusion has hovered like a fog. This is why clarity has been under siege. Because if you, chosen one, ever truly recognize the shift, you will align with heaven, and once that happens, no power in hell can block what's coming next. So listen closely. Not all pain is punishment, and not all pressure is warfare. Some of it is birthing. The discomfort is a contraction. The silence is not abandonment, it's sacred stillness. God is doing something inside of you first. He's adjusting your posture, recalibrating your vision, and asking one holy question: can you perceive what I am doing? If you can, you won't miss it. Even if no one else sees it, you will. Because that's what makes you the chosen one. You don't move by sight, you move by sensitivity. So don't rush this moment. Don't try to escape what is sacred. Lean into it. Let the Spirit sharpen your discernment. Ask God to give you fresh eyes and steady feet. You are being summoned forward, not randomly, but intentionally. The shift has begun, and you, chosen one, are feeling it first because you were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to respond to the call. It feels like everything inside you is shifting, but nothing outside of you is changing. You've tried to explain it, but words fall short. You've wondered if you're falling apart, losing your way, or missing something obvious. But hear this truth clearly, chosen one. You are not confused. You are in contraction. The pressure you feel is not the enemy taking ground. It is heaven making room. The storm within you is not disorder. It is divine order being born through pressure. C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg." This metaphor captures the essence of your current struggle. The pressure you feel is the cracking of the shell, the necessary breaking of old limitations to allow the new version of you to emerge. You cannot remain in the comfort of the egg and expect to soar into your destiny. This contraction is not a sign of failure. It is the painful but holy process of transformation, preparing you to fly. You were never meant to interpret discomfort as defeat. For those who are ordinary, pain may be a warning, but for the chosen, pain is often a signal that the promise is close, that something is about to be delivered. The more intense the internal storm becomes, the more certain you can be that you're not being buried. You're being brought forth. You are in spiritual labor, and labor always precedes delivery. The contractions come in waves, first subtle, then undeniable. You feel the tension rising when you try to return to what once felt familiar, yet now feels foreign. The people, places, and rhythms that once comforted you no longer offer the same peace. That's not because they changed. It's because you've outgrown them. When heaven begins to press something new through your spirit, the first thing it does is make the old uncomfortable. This pressure, this inner tearing, is not proof that you're off path. It's proof that something divine is being formed within you. And just like in the natural, the closer the birth, the more intense the pain. So if it hurts right now, if you feel raw, stretched, disoriented, it means you're close. You are not regressing. You are not unraveling. You are expanding. Heaven is pushing something through you that your previous season could not contain. Chosen one, this is not the end. This is the crowning. What you carry is not small. It is sacred. And sacred things require pressure. God is not punishing you, He is positioning you. He is not silencing you, He is shaping you. The shaking in your soul is not destruction. It is design. You are being refined in fire so you can carry glory without breaking. This storm is your classroom. This pain is your midwife. And this transition is your gateway. So breathe. Don't resist the stretch. Don't curse the contraction. Let the pressure do its holy work. For in just a moment, when the time is fully ripe, the promise will push through, and everything that once felt stuck will suddenly move. What now feels like shaking will become clarity. What now feels like agony will turn to arrival. And you, chosen one, will not just survive this labor. You will emerge from it reborn. There's a moment in Scripture where the prophet Elijah tells King Ahab, "There is the sound of an abundance of rain." But when he said those words, there was no cloud in the sky. The land was dry. The heavens were silent. The drought still ruled the atmosphere. Yet Elijah heard something others couldn't hear. He discerned something in the spirit that hadn't yet manifested in the natural. And that is what it means to be the chosen one, to perceive the shift before others even feel a breeze. This is where you are right now. You sense something, stirring something coming, but there is no evidence yet. Don't panic. That doesn't mean the promise isn't real. It means your spirit is ahead of your reality. Elijah didn't wait for clouds. He moved on sound. He climbed the mountain in full faith, carrying nothing but a whisper from heaven. And there on Mount Carmel, he bowed down to birth the forecast through prayer. 7 times he sent his servant to look toward the sea. 6 times nothing. Not even a hint. But he didn't stop. Because when you're the chosen one, you don't walk by what you see, you move by what you know in your spirit. On the 7th time, the servant came back with a report so small it could have been dismissed, a cloud the size of a man's hand. But that's all Elijah needed. That was the confirmation. That was the crack in the heavens that said, "Get ready. It's here." And chosen one, that's all God needs in your life too. A crack, a whisper, a flicker of movement. One small signal can be the turning point that unlocks the floodgates. Don't overlook the small signs. Don't despise the tiny cloud. It may not look like the breakthrough you prayed for, but it's the beginning of it. You've prayed, fasted, waited. You've labored in silence, interceded in weariness. And now heaven is answering, not always in a roar, but sometimes in a whisper, a subtle shift, a flicker of hope, a text message, a phone call, an idea you didn't ask for. That's your cloud, chosen one. That's the signal that what you've carried in private is about to be revealed in public. And when that moment comes, everything accelerates. The sky will darken. The wind will shift. The drought will break. What began as a whisper will end in a downpour. What you waited years to see will arrive in moments. But you must stay sensitive. You must stay alert. You must stay on the mountain. Because the chosen are not casual observers of the weather. They are partners in calling it forth. So stand firm in the tension. Stay postured in prayer. You are not just waiting on rain. You are calling it in. You are not just enduring the drought. You are carrying the authority to end it. And it starts with a cloud the size of a hand. Small to man, but mighty to God. Watch the skies. Chosen one, your breakthrough is forming. And it's closer than it looks. It feels like something in you is being torn open. Like the ground you once stood on has given way, like what once held you now breaks beneath your feet. And in moments like this, the enemy comes whispering, "You're collapsing. You're cursed. You've missed it." But hear this, chosen one. You are not being buried, you are being birthed. What feels like destruction is actually divine delivery. What feels like the end is the opening of something that could only come through pressure. C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters wrote, "Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point." This truth speaks directly to the tearing you feel. The pain and pressure you're enduring are the testing point of your faith, your hope, and your calling. It takes courage to believe that this breaking is not your end, but your beginning. Yet, it is precisely this courage tested in the fire of discomfort that will carry you through to the birth of your divine purpose. The pain is not proof of failure. It is evidence that the promise is crowning. In the natural, when a baby is about to be born, the pain intensifies. The pressure multiplies. The body breaks open to release what it has carried in secret, and so it is with you. You have been carrying something holy, hidden, weighty, and now the time has come. But birth never feels like blessing in the moment, it feels like breaking. It feels violent, messy, chaotic, and yet it is the very process by which life enters the world. Don't misread this moment, chosen one. Don't assume that because it hurts, it's wrong. The pain is not punishment, it's purpose. It means you are close. It means the old shell can no longer contain the weight of who you are becoming. You're being expanded beyond old limitations. You're being stretched past human expectations. The pressure you feel right now is the holy tension between who you were and who you're called to be. And that tearing inside, it's not your spirit breaking down. It's your destiny, pushing through. This is sacred ground. This is a holy threshold. And what you decide in this moment matters. You can resist the pain and delay the birth, or you can surrender to it and emerge transformed. Let the old fall away. Let the shell break. Let the illusion of control be shattered. Because on the other side of this breaking is the release of everything heaven has prepared for you. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are mid-delivery. And though the contractions feel unbearable, they are temporary. Though the shaking feels endless, it is necessary. You are not being punished, chosen one. You are being revealed. The version of you that's emerging from this labor will not be the same as the one who entered it. And that's the point. So take a deep breath. Let the tears fall. Let the pressure stretch you. Don't fear the breaking. It's birthing. You are coming into alignment with heaven's timing. The promise is pushing. The old is collapsing. And everything that felt stuck will begin to move, suddenly, swiftly, supernaturally. Because when God begins to birth something through a chosen one, nothing can stop it. There's a story in the book of John, a moment drenched in mystery and mercy. A man lay paralyzed by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. He wasn't just stuck physically, he was stuck spiritually. Forgotten by people, overshadowed by time, paralyzed by disappointment. And then Jesus appears. No warning, no angelic trumpet. Just a quiet shift in the atmosphere. And with that shift came a question so simple it almost sounds cruel. Do you want to be made well? To the casual observer, it's an obvious answer. But to the chosen one, it reveals something deeper. Jesus wasn't just asking about healing, he was checking posture. You see, breakthrough doesn't always begin with miracles. Sometimes it begins with awareness. The question wasn't about ability, it was about alignment. Are you still expecting? Or have you become attached to the paralysis you've learned to live with and chosen one? That's the question heaven is now asking you. You've been in a season where nothing seems to move. Promises feel distant. Momentum has stalled. You've watched others get their miracle while you stayed behind. You've laid there faithful but frustrated, waiting but worn down. And now the atmosphere is stirring, quietly, supernaturally, invisibly. The water is moving again. And Jesus isn't asking if you have someone to help you. He's not checking if your conditions are ideal. He's asking if you'll recognize the shift when it comes. Because when God decides to move in your life, He won't wait for you to feel ready. He'll walk into your moment of paralysis and give a command that confronts everything familiar. Rise, pick up your mat, and walk. That mat, your comfort zone, your story of survival, your history of hurt. He's telling you to carry it, not sleep on it. Your past won't define your next step. Your former limitation will become your testimony. You don't need perfect faith right now, chosen one. You just need to respond when the atmosphere changes. You just need to perceive that the shift has already begun. The Spirit is moving not just around you, but within you. This is not a season to wait passively by the water. This is a season to rise, even if you still feel weak. To walk, even if you still remember how it felt to be stuck. To say yes, even if your soul still trembles from the weight of waiting. You've been faithful in the stillness. You've endured the silence. You've survived the stretch. But now the atmosphere has changed. The presence of God has drawn near, and He's calling you out of survival and into movement. You're not invisible. You're not disqualified. You are seen, known, and summoned. And when heaven stirs the water, the chosen one must move, not because everything makes sense, but because your spirit knows this is the moment. This is the shift, and you cannot stay here. There was once a woman chosen, faithful, deeply anointed, who almost gave up. She had prayed for years, fasted with trembling hands, and waited through endless silence. She believed God had spoken. She remembered the promise, but nothing seemed to move. Doors stayed closed. Her strength waned. People forgot. And then everything got worse. Finances collapsed. Relationships crumbled. Her health weakened. It didn't feel like purpose anymore. It felt like punishment. And in that moment of devastation, she whispered what so many chosen ones whisper in their darkest hour. Maybe I misheard God. Maybe I was wrong. But she wasn't wrong. She was just in the final contraction. And chosen one, so are you. That woman didn't know it, but heaven was already arranging what would become her breakthrough. It didn't come through a plan she orchestrated or a door she knocked on. It came out of nowhere. A sudden opportunity. A phone call she didn't expect, a shift she didn't see coming. And in hindsight, she realized the pressure was greatest just before the rain. The breaking came just before the birth. The silence broke because the heavens were getting ready to speak again. This is where you are now. Not forgotten, not forsaken, but moments from breakthrough. You've carried the promise longer than most could bear. You've held on when everything told you to let go. You've cried tears that no one saw or prayed, prayers that no one heard. And now the final contraction has begun. That deep groaning in your spirit, that unbearable weight pressing on your chest, that aching sense of, I can't do this anymore. That's not weakness. That's delivery. The enemy wants to convince you that you're dying here, but God is declaring that you're being born here. The warfare intensified, not because you're off track, but because you're closer than you've ever been. The shaking has increased because your foundation is being expanded. The tears are flowing because they're watering the soil of your next season. Heaven has not forgotten what it promised you. And the delay has not been denial. It has been divine timing. So hold on, chosen one. Don't misinterpret the contraction. Don't walk away from the altar just before the fire falls. Don't surrender your faith in the hour where God is whispering, now. The pressure is not proof that it's over. It's the final push before everything opens. You've come too far. You've endured too much. And the oil on your life is too costly for you to stop here. Let this be your confirmation you are in the last contraction. Breathe, worship, rest, but don't quit. What's coming is worth what it's costing you. And when you look back on this moment, you'll remember not just the pain, but the glory that followed. You'll remember that this was the day everything shifted. Chosen one, what you're feeling right now isn't madness. It's not misalignment. It's not failure. It's labor. You are in the thick of something holy, something weighty, something that has been growing inside of you in silence, and now heaven is demanding its release. This isn't random pain. This is purposeful pressure. You're not falling apart. You're falling into the fullness of what God planted in you long before the world saw your value. Like a woman in the final stages of childbirth, your soul is pushing. You can't go back. You can't pause the process. All you can do now is lean in, breathe deep, and let heaven finish what it started through you. The pain is real, but so is the promise. The stretching is uncomfortable, but so is destiny when it first arrives. No one gives birth in stillness. No one delivers without struggle. So don't be surprised that it hurts. What you carry is too sacred to come easily. There's pressure, there's tearing, there's breaking, and all of it is necessary. The version of you that entered this season isn't the version that can carry what comes next. That's why God is pushing through you, expanding you, drawing something eternal out of you. This is spiritual labor, chosen one. And the contractions mean it's close. The resistance means it's real. The warfare means the enemy knows you're about to shift. Don't be deceived. Heaven doesn't birth weak promises. What's being formed in you carries generational weight. It's not just for you, it's for those you'll reach. Those who will heal through your story, those who will see your scars and believe again. That's why the pressure has been so personal, because this isn't just about arrival. It's about becoming. So right now, in this very moment, heaven is pushing through you, through your tears, through your groans, through your silence, through your perseverance. You may not feel strong, but you're enduring the stretch. You may not feel qualified, but you're holding the line. You may not see it, but the veil is thinning. Something divine is passing through you, and when it emerges, nothing will look the same. Hold steady. Don't curse the pain. Don't despise the pressure. These are the final moments before the promise crowns. You are not being punished, you are being brought forth. You are not being broken, you are being built. And every ounce of this labor is making way for a life that carries heaven's fingerprint. Breathe deep. Chosen one. The heavens are contracting through your surrender, and what's coming through you, not around you, is holy. God, we come to you on behalf of the one you have called, the one you have hidden, the one you have stretched beyond what they thought they could bear. We lift up the chosen one, the weary one who still wakes up, the faithful one who still shows up, the tender one who still believes in the dark. Father, they are tired, not because they've strayed, but because they've obeyed. Not because they've failed, but because they've held on. And now they're at the edge, between the breaking and the birthing, between silence and fulfillment. Lord, for the chosen one who doesn't have words left, interpret the groans, translate the sighs. You see the tears that never fell in public. You know the weight they never admitted. So we ask, you now draw near. Whisper, steady their soul when their strength gives out. Let your presence fall like a blanket over their confusion. Let your voice rise louder than their fear. Remind them, they are not being undone, they are being refined. Let them feel it, God. Let them know they are not forgotten. Let them remember that you see what no one else sees. For the one who is standing in the hallway, no longer where they were, but not yet where you've called them, anchor them. Don't let them run from this moment. Don't let them give up in this transition. Speak clearly, even if it's only a whisper. Send signs not because they lack faith, but because they're fragile. Send the cloud the size of a man's hand. Send the flicker of light in the cave. Send the wind that shakes the silence. Let them know you are near. Father, we release the chosen one into your timing, into your process, into your hands. We surrender the desire to rush, to escape, to fix. Instead, We surrender to the labor. We surrender to the breaking. We surrender to the unfamiliar, because we trust you with what we do not understand. Let this pain deliver. Let this pressure become the passageway. Let this fire refine without destroying. And Lord, we ask boldly, heal the disappointments, heal the delays, heal the moments where hope felt like a lie, resurrect what they buried, restore what was stolen, redeem what felt wasted. Begin even now, God, to untangle the knots, to open the doors, to realign every step with the divine rhythm of heaven. Breathe over them again. Wrap your presence around the broken places and whisper the truth that changes everything. I see you. I know. I'm not done. We declare over the chosen one right now, you will not die in this labor. You will not break in this transition. You will not be lost in this middle place. You will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. The shift has already begun. The pressure has purpose. The pain has prophecy. The tears have weight. And even as we pray, the water is breaking. God, we seal this in trembling faith, in silent tears, in holy hope, not with understanding but with surrender, not with perfect strength but with chosen identity. And in the name above every other name, Jesus, we say, Amen. Chosen one, breathe. Let this word settle in your chest like oil. Let it wrap around the trembling places in your heart. Let it silence the lies that have shouted over your destiny. You've been asking, what is happening to me? And heaven is answering now without hesitation. You've just crossed into the shift. What once held you back has lost its grip. What once delayed you has been removed. What once confused you is now becoming clear. This isn't hype. This is holy. You're not standing where you used to. The pressure wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The delay wasn't denial. It was divine alignment. The pain wasn't pointless. It was labor. And now the shift is no longer coming. The shift is here. You can feel it in your spirit, even if nothing around you has changed, because when God moves, He moves in the invisible first. You may not have fireworks, but you have the whisper. You may not have applause, but you have confirmation. You may still feel tired, but the atmosphere around your life has been rearranged. This is the moment where everything starts to move. This is when the mat you used to lie on becomes the evidence that you got up. This is when the water that once felt still begins to ripple because heaven has stepped into your waiting place. Sorise. Walk differently. Talk like it's shifting. Pray like it's already begun. Live like you've already crossed over. The waiting season was never about punishment. It was about preparing you for the weight of what you carry. And now that weight is beginning to manifest. Lift your eyes. Shake the dust off your faith. The story isn't ending, it's unfolding. The promise isn't fading, it's forming. And the pain you've endured wasn't a waste, it was the path. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are right on time, because you were never meant to miss what heaven wrote with your name on it. So believe again, chosen one. Believe that God still speaks, that He still restores, that He still shifts things, and that He hasn't changed His mind about you. The fact that you're still breathing, still hoping, even if it's only with one small thread of faith, is proof something in you refuses to die. And heaven refuses to let go of what it started. Here is the final word over you. Walk forward. Prophesy forward. Believe forward. What blocked you before can't stop you now. What broke you before is the very evidence that you survived. And what's stirring in your spirit is no longer just a sign, it's the arrival. You've crossed into the shift. Heaven has confirmed it. And I'll see you whole standing, renewed on the other side of the breaking,